Good morning. We will call this meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item up for business is the minutes approval.
Moment of silence.
A moment of silence. I want to talk about a moment of silence for just a brief moment. I realize in the past that the commission had taken a moment of silence, and I don't know how, if we should, there are special times when it's necessary, but do we diminish it by doing a moment of silence when we don't necessarily know what we're having a moment of silence about? That's a question.
That's your call.
But obviously there's times when it's completely appropriate. Someone may have lost a family member, or someone from law enforcement, and then it happens on a daily basis. But I also want to make sure that we do it. It's not just going through the motions, that we do it because we truly are honoring someone in the process. So I'm fine with it. I just know that there's sometimes it becomes just a part of the process that hopefully we, when it is special, when it is someone that's close, and we take a moment of silence for the people that we're really in deep thought about. So
I look at it as an individual thing. I mean, it's an opportunity. Everyone has daily challenges, and we all are separate in those regards. Some more, some less have challenges throughout the day. And to me, it's a moment to reflect inward, to look inside yourself and to see how you're doing and your day's going, and just kind of get a reading, on yourself and how I can make myself better. It's a reflection. But I agree, there's sometimes that, it's like a national day of silence.
well, if there's a tragedy or
hope
something of that nature, and so, but again, I just want to make sure that when we have, obviously we should take some time, because there's someone's affected every day. I mean, there are people that are lost, lives are lost every day, and someone's life is being turned upside down, and we need to remember those individuals. But I also want to make sure that when we do it, that we remember that there are going to be times when it's more personal for us. And so at this time, I think I just want to make that statement that we will observe a moment of silence, and it may be someone that that you have a relationship with that we're thinking about this time. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. That being said, we have minutes from April 29th and May 1st. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of April 29th and May 1st of this year.
I'll second
I
that.
have a first and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Minutes have been approved. Do we have any requests for discussion? No one signed up. Any first action item that we have before us is the Commission Order 2025-121. It is the matter of accepting the purchase quote of maintenance from Keytrack Incorporated, authorizing the purchase of Keytrack Guardian for the Franklin County Sheriff's Department.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
2025-121.
Second.
The first and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. We have approved Commission Order 2025-121. Next commission order is 2025-122 in the matter of approving on-site maintenance agreement with Smith Detection for the security screening equipment at the Franklin County Judicial Center. Any discussion
I make a motion, we approve 2025-122.
Second.
First and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We've approved 2025-122. Next, commission order is 2025-97, slightly out of order. In the matter of approving and authorizing the renewal of a service contract with Vanguard Appraisals. We had previously tabled this issue, but now it's back on the agenda. Any discussion on this contract?
Nope.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We've approved Commission Order 2025-97. Next item on the list is 2025-123, matter distributing funding from the opioid settlement fund to the sheriff of Franklin County for assistance in opioid prevention. Obviously, we've had some conversations about this. They're going to have an employee through these funds. Any further discussion on this commission order? Seeing none,
I make a motion that we approve
I'll
Commission
second.
Order 2025-123.
we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item up for business is Commission Order 2025-124. The matter of appointing John Jasper to the Franklin County Transportation Committee as the representative of Union Township.
Make a motion that we approve Commission Order 2025-124.
Yeah, I think John's going to do a great job. I'll second that.
We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. John Jasper will be the next representative on the Franklin County Transportation Committee, representing Union Township. The next order up for business is Commission Order 125, the matter of approving the consent and agenda and all items thereon. Take a moment to,
I'll make a motion. We approve that.
I second.
we have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. We have approved the Commission Order 2025-125, the consent agenda and all items listed thereon. Next item up for business is the discussion items and reports. Any departmental reports? No one? Any further discussion from the commission at this point?
Well, let's, can we talk to Jim? Can we get an update on what's going on with that, Highway 100 slide?
Yes.
Old Highway 100? Have we heard anything from Cochran?
I did have discussion with the representative from Cochran this morning. They were there yesterday doing their exploration. They did not start their cores yet. They're supposed to do that on Friday. But they did a visual above the slide and below the slide, and they have discovered fresh water coming out at the toe of the slope. It is causing this.
Where's the fresh water coming from?
We don't know where it's coming from. It's coming out at the toe of the slope, right around just above the creek. So somewhere.
Is there a water main break possibly somewhere? It could be a leak.
That would be the first thought, but there's not a water main in that area. So there could be, at the old plant, there could be an industrial well that is just really sprung a big leak. They did not have fresh water at that industrial plant, so they probably had a pretty good size commercial well that services that, and that could be feeding water into the subgrade. And I'm just guessing at this point. They're doing further exploration to find out exactly what it is.
I mean, as a civil engineer, I went out there myself, Paul and I did yesterday, and looked at the site. And it's obvious there's subsidence occurring there, not just shoving. So my first suspect was across the street, which is now some marijuana processing or something, but it used to be an aluminum manufacturing
Yes.
and I know there's a lot of water used in that process with aluminum. So that was my first suspect, is something's going on there that's underwashing that whole system. My fear is there's a concrete slab that's still there. It's a hard, clean edge. If we have a void under that slab also, that's going to further your closure. And you may end up needing a complete closure if we have a void under that slab.
And we are readily available to make that immediate closure. We inspect it every day. So we are keeping a very close eye on it. I was out there just before the meeting and looked at it and compared photos one day to the next. So we are keeping an eye on it, but it was interesting that they were able to find this water. Finally, we had a few days without rain, so everything else around it was dry, so they could see where the water was coming out. It wasn't flowing from rain residue. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
they continue their investigation, and they also are going to start their subgrade and subterranean investigation.
The school buses have been rerouted to go down St. John's Road.
They have been notified what's going on. They've been notified that there's constriction to one lane with a light. There have been empty school buses that go back that way. I have not seen any buses with students on them, but I have seen empty buses. And I can't control that. I can't say school buses are prohibited. I can't do that.
Yeah, at a minimum, we probably should put maybe some kind of a weight,
We do just
regulation
beyond
on it.
that is the bridge, and that's a 16-ton weight limit.
16 on, and that's a MoDOT, the one
That's
that
a
they're
MoDOT
looking at
That's the
doing.
MoDOT bridge.
Because when we were out there, you can see the separation occurring even across all the way to the other side of the pavement where
Yes.
there's a separation occurring. So that's the part that's got me worried about is a whole slab area being underwash and a void created there. I know that they're looking at doing some coring, and you're saying that they're going to do that Friday. Have they ever discussed doing any kind of ground penetrating radar or anything, or they're just going to rely on the cores and then get the excavators out there and start digging, get it out of there?
At this point, they're in the investigation mode. They are geo engineers, and that's what they're telling me. I'm relying on their expertise at this point.
Okay, and they're
And as soon as I get,
geotech engineers, I think you said,
yes,
geotechnical engineers, they
Yeah.
have, they're looking at it.
yes. And as soon as I get any information, I'll forward that to you all.
Thank you.
Jim,
A little bit unrelated to that, but still in the same area. Is it my understanding that MoDOT is going to replace that bridge down there sometime in the near future?
Yes, sir. That's scheduled for the 27 construction year. They are going to replace that bridge. They're replacing it. They will give it to Franklin County, and Franklin County will give it to the city. That's my understanding, how legally they need to provide it to the city. It has to go to the county first, and then we turn it, or you all turn it over to the city.
whenever they do that, Jim, I guess that'll be a total road closure when they replace that bridge, I would assume.
That's correct. It'll probably be 90 to 120 day road closure.
We may have enough information to know what route we're going to need to take in order to shore up that area. It's not going to be cheap. It's obviously, it looks to me like it gets more expensive. When we start seeing what's happening and what's occurring there, I'm not sure what the ultimate cost is going to be, but it's not going to be probably minimal.
We'll explore all options, and
Yeah, we drove it yesterday for detours even, and I don't think you're having an issue with even detouring traffic. No one's really going to drive way out of their way if you put in a full closure, which is going to happen anyway when the bridge occurs.
Yes.
So
yes.
maybe you'll give them a short sample of, find a good way to go to get around.
The biggest impact will be to emergency services, fire, ambulance, things such as that. The school, they can adjust their schedule and the bus routes and what have you to accommodate that closure.
The other concern I had is the business that's there, and forgive me, I don't remember the name of it, but they have two entrances, egress and egress, right there at the point of contention, I'll call it, because we don't know exactly how large this is going to end up being. It looks like it's going to be fairly significant for an excavation there. My understanding is they have an entrance at the other end of their facility.
Yes, right near the bridge, they have a rock entrance that comes in around behind the building, and they can use that. And
Okay,
they don't have many employees. They have 10 or 12 employees.
we may want to point them in that direction because right now we have that area under signal control from traffic control.
Mhm.
But the challenge is they're in the middle of those two controls. So they're coming into that area uncontrolled. So you could actually have an opposing green light and they can be coming out of their exit there. And it's only a 1-lane section. So, we could have an issue there, a conflict. Like I said, luckily it's a very low use on their part, but we may want to look at, tell them they're going to have to close those two entrances, which you're going to have to do anyway during your excavation later, and start utilizing their other exit for safety reasons.
Yes, traffic control did post signs inside the fence for that factory that states you have to follow traffic in the direction it goes so you don't come opposed to oncoming traffic.
Yeah,
But
the challenge is there's no positive control. We're providing positive control at both ends, but nothing in the middle, which makes it even more challenging. So it'd be nice to have positive control at those, but they have another possibility, to supply their personnel and supplies into their business. So my recommendation was to communicate with them that for safety reasons, we need to close those two entrances or exits, whatever they want to call them, right there for the time being until that whole situation is taken care of, because they're going to have to close it anyway. Once you start excavating, you're going to need that whole area because it looks like you're going to be taking up quite a lot of room, and you're going to have to put some either movable barriers or jersey barriers or something there once excavation starts to secure that area. And then that's another concern. If there's voids under that slab, is the slab the only thing structurally offering the roadway now? And we preload it with some barriers, which is going to be required, the jersey type barriers when we do an excavation, because you have to have positive control from that excavation site. But those are the things I just suggest. And I'm sure Cochrane's looking at that, but
There's some liability issues
Yeah.
there too, so
From-
that's probably a good idea.
from your point, you want to look for those things when Cochrane comes back to you with some design plans and stuff to make sure, or if you'd like to forward them to us, we'd be more than happy to review them. And like I said, I'm a little authorized. I'm a civil engineer and transportation engineer, so I can help out in that regard.
Okay.
And the county's already paying me.
Jim,
I'll do that.
the cost for that lighting, I mean, is that something we're renting?
Yes, we are renting that lane change, lane closure setup at this time.
What's the approximate monthly cost for that?
$3,800 a month.
$3,800 a month.
And I just do it month by month. And I called them I called them Monday morning, and it was set up by 2:00 Monday afternoon.
It was a good call. I mean, it's traffic control. He's renting it from them. They got the signal, their temporary traffic control signals from OMJC up in Chicago. But that's a standard that you don't want to, if you're going to have to leave people out there, you're going to spend a lot more money than by renting. So you made a good decision there.
No, I think it's, I mean, obviously I've been out there and I mean, it's functioning fine. And I don't know, like I said, I just don't know how much the overall during day to day, how much traffic's in there, but I went through both directions and it worked out fine. I just know it's a cost that I was just curious how much it was costing us to rent, but
At this time, it's a little better than $100 a day. And for the safety of the motoring public, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'll keep you all informed as things progress.
Thanks for the update, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Good
any
job.
further discussion?
Nope.
No years of service or retirement recognition. Next item is adjournment motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.